Welcome to a new week here on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Micciche. I'm a financial advisor and co-owner of True North Retirement Advisors, a fee-only fiduciary financial advisory practice managing over $425 million in client assets. For the last 17 years, I've helped clients retire with confidence. And my goal on this podcast is to simplify all the complexities of planning for your retirement so you can focus on what really matters, enjoying your retirement years while maintaining financial security. Now, one of the biggest spending categories for most Americans is food. For many of you listening, it's a top 5, definitely a top 10 expense. Even wealthier Americans who maybe have more disposable income and spend less of their overall outflows on food and eating out every month, they still spend quite a bit on food because we just adjust. If we have higher income, you may eat out more. You might buy higher quality foods, more organic things. You may entertain more and spend money on food to have friends and people over more often. And you may also shop at places like Whole Paycheck or Whole Foods, Retirees on average spend about $7,500 a year on groceries and eating out. That's a big expense. And because food costs matter in your budget, I really wanted to focus on that in this week's episodes. And I can think of no better person to discuss this topic with than my good friend, Karrie. I first met Karrie about 5 years ago, shortly after her family moved to my town and started attending the same church we go to. In fact, I remember the first time they rolled up in their big Sprinter van and 11 of them piled out of the van. And over that time, over the last 5 years, we've become really good friends. She babysits my little ones a couple days a week. We share a lot of the same views on many things and have similar sense of humor. So I really cherish my friendship with Karrie. In fact, at the moment, I am working on arranging a marriage between what I view as the highest probability match between her children and my children, which is her youngest and my 4-year-old Theodore. I've actually offered their youngest daughter a paid-for wedding if only she agrees to marry him. But I don't know, she's playing hard to get at the moment. But as the chief grocery shopper for her family of 11, actually her oldest is in college now, has moved out. So there's still 10 of them living under one roof. So her and her husband, they have 9 kids. Again, the oldest has moved out, ages about 20 down to 4. And so over the last 20 years that she's had children and continued to add to their family, she's learned a lot about saving money on food over the years. So Karrie and I talk about a wide variety of topics. We talk about how much she actually spends on groceries in a given month. And funny enough, how her perception was actually different. Like what she thought she spent versus what she actually spends was a little bit off, which is true for most people. She talks about how she uses cash to stick to a budget, always shopping with a list. She talks about what has changed since COVID. Grocery bills and prices at the grocery store have gone up insane, like 25, 50, 100% in some cases since pre-COVID. So what does she do to keep their costs manageable despite the higher prices at the grocery store? We also talk about meal planning, using apps and sales and coupons to make sure she's getting the best prices possible, and how she shops the sales at different grocery stores to also stretch their grocery budget every month. So I'm really excited to share my interview with Karrie. We had a great time in our discussion. So come on back tomorrow. Karrie and I are going to dive into how much her family pays for groceries in a given month and what she uses as her main strategy for sticking to a very strict food budget that she has for their household. All right, my name is Ashley Micciche, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips podcast.